Hello, my name is Amanda Ray Thaler. I teach in the nursing department at UMA, and I'm also a registered yoga teacher. And it's the end of the semester. Finals are right around the corner. So here is a video to help you with some deep breathing and some yoga as tools to help you with your stress during this busy time at the end of the semester in the middle of a pandemic. Hope you enjoy.
Okay, so we're going to talk about yoga for stress reduction. Our plan for our short time together is to do a little breathing exercise, talk about yoga and stress, and then practice some yoga. And by the end of the time, you will be able to define yoga, explain the benefits on stress, and also experience some of the effects of yoga. So here we will clip to a breathing video.
One great way to start every task, whether it's a class, heading home to your family, or going into work, is to take a few deep breaths. So we're going to practice that as we begin our little chat about yoga and stress. So you begin by sitting tall, grounding your sitting bones into your chair, or even standing up nice and tall, straightening your spine, letting your shoulders come up to your ears, around and onto your back, which allows your chest to open up, allowing you to have a bigger, fuller breath. If you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. If not, just have a soft face, relaxing your jaw, and then begin to notice your breath. So inhaling through the nose, full and deep, expanding the lungs, and exhaling completely through the mouth. Again, inhaling slowly and deeply through the nose, expanding the ribs, the belly, all the way up under the collarbones, and then exhaling in reverse, pulling the belly button towards the spine. So breathing at your own pace, a little bit fuller and a little bit slower than you were a few minutes ago. Begin to become aware of your body and just notice. So through the five senses, noticing any smell, any taste, any sounds that you hear. Noticing the temperature of the room, the way your clothes feel on your body, and noticing how you feel inside. So do you feel worried? Do you feel calm? Do you feel hungry? So the purpose of this little breathing exercise is not only to get some extra oxygen, but also to connect you with this moment in time. It's a great tool to use to get yourself grounded before any task. So you're still breathing, and I'll explain the last 3 breaths we do intentionally together. So you're still breathing slow and deep, just listening. So the first breath we do together is called a letting go breath. So before beginning your next task, letting go of anything outside of that task that you don't need to carry with you. So if you had a busy, stressful morning or a disagreement with your partner, then you would let that go before you walked into class or whatever you're doing, work or with your family. So inhale together and exhale, let go. Continuing breathing. The middle breath is to remind us to stay connected to our bodies. So our bodies have so many messages for us. I'm hungry, I'm tired, I need to go someplace quiet for 5 minutes because I'm overstimulated. I need to stand up and take a walk because I'm getting antsy and I can't focus. So listening to those messages that are in your body is so important, and taking a pause like this to connect makes you more likely to hear those messages. So we'll inhale together and exhale, connect with our body. And the last breath is for focus. So as we know, we're so distracted in our culture. We have our phones binging and all sorts of distractors all the time with schools and emails, so and work and families. So when we go into a class or to take an exam, it's very important to let go, connect with your body, and then also take a breath for focus. So we'll inhale together and exhale for focus. And when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open gently and just notice how you feel. Thank you for participating.
And then let's talk about what is yoga. Yoga is old. We can see that 4,000 years ago. It originated in India. Yoga is a system, not of beliefs, but of techniques and guidance for enriched living. So the word yoga itself means yoke or union, and that means to connect with yourself or even the divine. So it can be that you use the breathing techniques and the exercises of yoga to connect to yourself and your body, or in some cases, people actually feel that it brings them closer to their spiritual place or their divine being. Yoga is stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. Then one abides in their own true nature. So not only do people do the breath work and the exercise pieces, but there's also a whole guideline for enriched living where people practice meditation for a long time or devotion, and that's living your yoga. So yoga can be an exercise practice. Yoga can be a way of life. For our purposes, we'll just use it as a tool to help with stress reduction. Yoga is becoming very popular. Just even in our areas in Maine, you'll see there's more yoga studios popping up, and there's a reason why. Once you try it in the right setting, you may find yourself seeking a yoga studio also. For me, when I was a student, I was extremely stressed. I worked 2 or 3 jobs, paid my way through college, and did not handle my stress well. I used unhealthy coping skills, as we all are drawn to when we're in stressful situations. So a friend of mine took me to a yoga class, and we smoked cigarettes on the way there, of course. And then at the end of yoga classes, typically you lay down on your back in a relaxation pose, and they said, quiet your mind, relax, melt into your mat. And I felt just elated. It was the best I had felt, I think, in my whole life. And I realized that for that 1 hour I was in that class, my mind was not racing. And that was when I was 19, and I'm 44 now. So it really has been a tool that has helped me, really saved me through the stresses of life. And so that's why I love it, and that's why I share it with as many people as I can. So what is stress? There's another definition for you. So stress is simply the body's reaction to any change. So there may be good stress, right? Like getting excited about getting a new pet or a fun get-together with friends. But there's also negative stress, and that can either be physical, mental, or emotional. So when we have stress that is short-term, so for instance, we'll use the old example of a bear chasing you. Your body really needs to secrete a lot of different hormones that will make the body ready to fight, flight, or freeze to get you away from that ultimately stressful situation. And so our bodies are amazing at that. Our endocrine system, our nervous system, our brain can sense it, and that makes us well equipped to survive in this world of dangers. Well, then humans continue to evolve, and now we lead lives where most days threatened by a bear or another wild beast. Our beast now is our minds and the way that we process stress. So as we all know, we can begin a semester and think about how we really don't like public speaking. And at the end of the semester, we have to do a stand-up presentation and speak in front of the whole class, or even on Zoom. And that's stressful. And so anytime you think about that, you can get your body into the fight, flight, or freeze mode, right? Oh my gosh, what if I stumble or stutter? Or what if my slides don't work right and I am so embarrassed? And so that process of just stressing about something that's 2 months away or 3 months away in our little scenario creates the same chemical cascade throughout your whole body to cause that stress. And so we get stressed by watching the news, about thinking about things. We get stressed with fear because of our current situation. And what happens is our bodies get very tired of secreting all of those hormones all the time. And it causes a lot of issues with people's bodies, like inflammation. People can have early heart disease. The way that people gain weight when you're stressed and you have a lot of cortisol in your body, you gain weight in the middle, in the trunk. Okay, enough about all that bad stuff. All right, so we know that when you're stressed, especially chronically, you can start to feel all of these symptoms because we're not supposed to stay in that state. That's just in case we need to run away from a bear, not every day. So it's not good for us. So we need some tools and we need some solutions. So what are your tools that you currently use for stress reduction? There's that list. And then what are your tools that you currently use for stress reduction that are healthy? And that list, right, depending on our habits and the way we were brought up and what we've learned in life, we may have a big toolbox of tools or we may not, and that's okay. So here's some tools. We know that activating the parasympathetic nervous system puts the brakes on the stress response. So it's literally, I always say this, like putting if you know what a governor is, right? So if you buy your child a dirt bike and it goes 50 miles an hour, you do not want your 12-year-old to go 50 miles an hour. So you put a little regulator, somehow, I don't even know how to do it, and it makes it so it only goes 15 miles per hour. It's called a governor, and it's a little device that makes machines go slower. So deep breathing and yoga and meditation using these tools is like putting a governor on your nervous system. It can't even get as stressed anymore because you bring it down. I mean, I guess it could, but for the most part, you bring it down a couple notches for the whole day. And so it activates by taking big, deep breaths. Your whole diaphragm expands, and that activates your nervous system. Yoga, by the breathing definitely is a part of it, but by stretching your muscles, quieting your mind, relaxing, activating, there's something called the relaxation response. So activating that is like bathing your whole stressed out nervous system in a nice peaceful bath. And then meditation, there are great studies with meditation that show that even in as short as 6 weeks, the body and the brain make major changes. And not only does it help with stress, but it helps with chronic conditions, pain, PTSD. There's so much literature now. It goes on and on for yoga, meditation, and deep breathing practices. Okay, is that good? Oh gosh, that was it. So I think here, if you do have any questions, you can email me or ask Rose Pelletier to get in touch with me, and I would be happy to answer any questions. The goal is for us to find our healthy coping tools and use them as much as possible. And so I'm going to show you a couple techniques that I love to use and that I love to share with students. So thank you so much. Have a good day.
Okay, so let's try some yoga. First, as with any exercise, you want to start with a little bit of stretching. So we'll get into our seated cross-legged position and we'll do a little stretching to start. So this is called Sukhasana or easy pose, which it's not easy for many people. So what you can do to get more comfortable is to add any sort of a cushion or a folded up blanket or towel under your tush to get your bottom up higher. And that allows your legs to cross easier and your hips to be more open. So as high as you need to get, and if this still isn't comfortable, then you can try a chair or you can put your legs out in front of you. So whatever feels best for your body. Everybody has a different body and different injuries, and there's no judgment and no competition in yoga. So you're sitting or standing and your legs are however they are to be comfortable for you. What you're going to want to do is notice your sitting bones, so the bones that connect down with the ground, and connect them in so they're even on both sides, lifting up through the torso, the spine, lengthening so you're sitting tall and straight. Bring the shoulders up to the ears, around and onto your back so you have a nice big open chest for breathing. Connect again with your breath. So inhaling and exhaling. Getting back to that rhythm that we practiced a few minutes ago. Really expanding the lungs. It helps to actually make the sound. In yoga, that's called ujjayi breathing. They call it ocean breathing. You can kind of visualize the waves crashing on the beach. So always connecting with the breath before moving into any motion. So we're in our Sukhasana easy pose, and we'll do some stretches for our neck and shoulders. That's where we hold a lot of stress and tension. So beginning with your right ear to your right shoulder, very gently. Taking a big breath there. And all the way to the other side, left ear to left shoulder. Noticing how it feels to open up the side of the neck. Noticing where you have tension. Coming back to center. Bringing the forehead to the sky very gently for a deep breath. Widening the collarbones, opening the throat. And then chin all the way to the chest, or as far as you can go, for a big breath, opening the back of the spine. From here, adding a little motion by doing some semicircles, right ear to right shoulder, kind of tracing your chin along your chest. Breathing the whole time you do that and just noticing where you might have some tightness. And then coming up to neutral. We'll do some shoulder circles to the back. So loosening up those shoulders that we hold so tight when we're on the computer screen, and our jaw is so tight. Let that jaw go too. And we're still breathing. And forward shoulder circles. Let's Inhale the arms out to the side and see if the hands can reach back just a little. So it's like you're gonna give the biggest hug to the most lovely being that you know. And that may be a pet. Big hug, stretching the shoulders open, and then you get the hug. Reaching around your body, give yourself a big hug. It's also stretching the shoulders, but we deserve love. We need love. And if you haven't had a hug today, here it is. And then letting the arms go. We'll inhale the arms up together. And then exhale, the right arm comes down. The left arm lifts a little, and we'll do a gentle side stretch. So you can keep those sitting bones grounded. This is opening up through the side of your body, breathing into that space. Extra space between the ribs that wasn't there a few minutes ago. And we'll go all the way to the other side. So left arm down, right arm up. You lengthen and breathe and gently side stretch. And coming back to the center, we'll inhale our arms up again. This time, we're gonna do a gentle twist to the right. So the spine stays tall and long. The left hand can go onto the right thigh. The right hand is behind you like a kickstand. So nice and tall. The twisting is happening below the belly button and then all the way up through the spine. You can even look, I should say the twisting starts below the belly button, all the way up through the spine, and you can even look over your shoulder for a nice breath. You're wringing out the stress that's in your spine. Coming back to neutral, then we'll inhale again and exhale, twisting to the left. So this is a very gentle twist. We're not trying to crank our spines further than they want to go. It's just range of motion for the spine. And back to neutral. From here, let's untangle our legs. Perhaps they were already out here, and give them a little shake. It's hard to keep sitting in that crisscross applesauce position for too long if you haven't been doing it. So our legs are out in front of us. And from here, let's just gently, very gently, inhale and lengthen our spine, and then walk our hands forward just a tiny bit. And you will notice what you feel here, right? So our backs perhaps are tight, or our hamstrings, and that is completely normal. Whether you are an athlete or a yogi or don't get much exercise, lots of people have tight backs and hamstrings. So you can stay here with a flat back, or you can round your back over, bringing your forehead towards the ground, and breathe into that rounded back. But really, you're doing what feels right for your body. Yoga is a gentle stretch where you go to your edge of comfort and never into discomfort. So only you know what that is. And it's important to always maintain that awareness, not to go past or into discomfort. So coming back up to a seated position, you can start to walk your hands behind you. So your shoulders are going way onto your back. Your chest is pressed outward. Your spine is tall and long. Your forehead is towards the sky and chin is lifted. Your hands can be just fingertips, or you can put your palms down. Your fingers can point away from you, or they can point behind you. But the point is to really open that chest and breathe into that space. It's the opposite motion of us being at our computers. So just really getting that extra air. You can feel your pectoral muscles spreading, right? Because we don't do this very often. Beautiful. So we are, it looks like, well, let me see how many minutes we've been going here. 9 minutes. So let's do one more minute. And we'll do some cats and cows. So however, from coming to this position, however is the safest, easiest way for you to get to your hands and knees is how you should get there. So whatever that looks like for you, gently and slowly coming into a hands and knees position. So the hands are underneath the shoulders, the knees are underneath the hips, pressing the fingers into the mat or the ground so that you're not putting all your weight in your wrists, which does not feel good. So pressing through your fingers, your spine starts out straight. This is called table position. There's lots of cool things you can do in table position, but one of my favorite is the cats and the cows, which is spinal flexion and extension. So you can imagine a cat is where you arch your back up as far as you can. And a cow is where you sink the belly, the head and the tail rise, and you inhale. So you time it with your breath. Exhaling as you arch your back. Inhaling as you sink the belly, the head and tail rise. So at your own pace, you can flex and extend your spine. You can even feel in this position, your shoulders are getting some range of motion, and so are your hips. So with that, we've done our 10 minutes. I think I'm gonna do a second part just to have available in case folks want more. But this was supposed to be 20 minutes, so I wanna keep to that time. So I hope that between the breathing and the little chat and then some range of motion yoga exercises, you can feel some of your stress dissolving and just notice how you feel after doing these few little evidence-based interventions. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your semester and that your finals go smoothly and you have a wonderful summer. Thank you.